के परफॉर्मेंस की इस हफ्ते कैसा रहा, और उसके बाद फिर यू नो नेक्स्ट वीक क्या एंटिसिपेटेड है, किस तरीके से निफ्टी बैंकिंग इंडेक्स, कौन से स्टॉक्स आपके रडार पे होने चाहिए, सब कुछ डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. So let's start with the disclaimer first that it's an educational webinar. It's not a trading or investment recommendation. So before making any decision based on the information shared, please check with your financial advisor. तो जो भी हम बात करने वाले हैं वो बेसिकली एजुकेशन पर्पस के लिए है. इट्स नॉट अ ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट रिकमेंडेशन. तो कोई भी ट्रेड करने से पहले, इन्वेस्ट करने से पहले जरूर अपने वित्तीय सलाहकार से आप बात करें. Now coming to the market performance, this is the snapshot, and as you can see, sharp cut, deep cut in both Nifty and Sensex, lost around 5% each. So whatever we had gained in last 3 weeks, we've lost it completely, and we are again closer to the November lows. तो देखिए ये जो बेंचमार्क की परफॉर्मेंस है, जो हमने बात की निफ्टी और सेंसेक्स की, करीब करीब 5% के कट दोनों में ही. तो जो 3 हफ्तों में जो हमने गेन किया था वो सबका सब निकल गया एक ही वीक में. The sectoral picture is no different. So barring pharma, all the other sectors were in deep in red, with metal, energy, banking, financials, auto. They were all lost in the range of 5 to 6%. Similarly, on the gainer side, we have just 2 names from the Nifty 50 basket. That is from the pharma space, Dr. Reddy's and Cipla. The rest of the name, Shriram Finance, Tata Motors, BEL, Grasim, Adani Enterprise, they all ended in sharp in red. तो जैसा कि बेंचमार्क का स्ट्रक्चर मींस निफ्टी और सेंसेक्स का स्ट्रक्चर, वैसे ही कहीं ना कहीं सेक्टोरल पे भी और निफ्टी गेनर्स लूजर्स में भी आपको नजर आएगा कि केवल फार्मा पॉजिटिव में, बाकी सभी नेगेटिव में. और फार्मा में से भी 2 नाम जो निफ्टी 50 में पॉजिटिव में, वो डॉक्टर रेड्डी और सिप्ला. बाकी सभी आपको नेगेटिव साइड पे नजर आएंगे. So it's outrightly, a session or a week जहाँ पे कि बेयर्स ने डिक्टेट किया. Now after this sell off, what is the picture? How we are looking for the next week? So if you remember, we were here on this green candle last Friday, and we were discussing about attempt of breakout about 2400 in the following days. It turned out to be completely otherwise. Means we not even made a single attempt of breakout about 24,800. And after that, the initial days were like, a flattish start followed by a decline, which, intensified further. Last time we were holding this level on the closing basis, 24,300. This time we breached that mark, and after that, the bias was cleared on the negative side. Means the range that we were trading in, 24,300, 24,800. We didn't break 24,800 in its attempt, but we declined below 24,300. And after that, we are seeing this correction in the market, which has pushed the index completely, on the back foot. This is today's candle, Friday's move. This red line, if you remember, we have discussed multiple times, is the long-term trend. It shows the long-term trend of the index. Last time during November, we slipped below this level for a brief, but then we saw this recovery. Again, we are trading below this mark. So now what is critical? If we fail to hold this November month low, that is at 23,250, then 22,700 is also something that market may test. Because not every time, this level of 200 days of exponential moving average is going to help us. So in case if it breaches this mark, then pressure may extend. We'll talk about it, why we are seeing this and how one should approach that. In case if we see an attempt of recovery now, so earlier which was acting as support will act as a resistance. So 24,000, 24,400 zone means this and then this multiple moving averages which plays around 23, 24, 350, 400 zone. So that will be the area of resistance, right? So as of now, from positive bias to negative bias in just a week's time, right? This week, for this week, 23 to 50 is something that you should mark in your trading books. As long as we are holding above this mark, there'll be a possibility that Nifty might make an attempt of recovery. Otherwise, 22,700. तो देखिए लास्ट वीक जब हम फ्राइडे को मिले थे तो हमने यहाँ पे थे, हमने बात की कि 24,300 को जो सब पहले रेंज की हम बात करते थे 24,300 और 24,800, तो हमने ये बात की कि भाई फ्राइडे को ब्रेक तो हुआ बट क्लोजिंग बेसिस पे आपने रेंज के अपर एंड के पास बंद किया है, तो अटेम्प्ट हो सकता है कि 24,800 को ब्रेक करने का होगा, जो कि इंडेक्स को हेल्प कर जाएगा कि 25,100 25,200 तक लेके जाएगा। बट एक दिन भी अटेम्प्ट नहीं हुआ इसको ब्रेक करने का और उसके बाद से हम देख रहे हैं लगातार गिरावट। 24,300 के नीचे आने के बाद कंफर्मेशन आ गया था, जब आपकी रेंज ब्रेक हो गई तो ऑटोमेटिकली फिर आपको कंफर्मेशन आ गया कि आप नेगेटिव साइड पे ही ज्यादा टिल्टेड हो और अब आप लॉन्ग टर्म एवरेजेस के नीचे भी आ चुके हो। लास्ट टाइम आप आए थे नवंबर मंथ में जहां पे आपने 23,250 के पास का करीब लो बनाया था, तो वही आपका एक इम्पोर्टेंट सपोर्ट रहेगा अगले हफ्ते के लिए। 23,250 को लिख लीजिए, वो जब तक इंटैक्ट है तब तक पॉसिबिलिटी रहेगी शायद एक मार्केट में बाउंस एक रिकवरी के अटेम्प्ट हो, अदरवाइज 22,700 की तैयारी हो। रिकवरी के केस में 24,000 24,400 का जोन है, ये काफी मुश्किल होगा मार्केट को ब्रेक करना। क्लियर है? अब आते हैं हम क्यों। सो अभी तक जो सारा हमारा ये रिकवरी था दैट वाज बेस्ड ऑन two key sectors like banking and IT. IT still after today's decline वहां पे भी रेंट पड़ा है, बट बैंकिंग इज समथिंग दैट वी वर closely eyeing for some outperformance. But in the last 4 trading sessions, banking have also showed a different picture altogether. So we were here last week and we were discussing about a possible attempt of making a new high. But after 1 day of a decline which extended after 1 day of attempt of recovery, it declined initially, which extended in the following sessions. Now, like this 200 days, which banking index, you can see that it has respected this level multiple times, even during this recent low. We are closer to that mark again. But we feel that instead of maintaining this as a key area to focus, rather the previous swing low, close to around 50,000 mark, 49,900 to be precise, should be the key area of support for banking index for any sort of recovery. Right? If it fails, then 49,000 is something that banking might test. In case if we see any bounce, then the first area of resistance is going to be this green line, which is around 51,700, 100 days of exponential moving average, and then this yellow line around 52,400, that 20 days of exponential moving average. तो देखिए लास्ट वीक तक हम क्या बात कर रहे थे कि आईटी और बैंकिंग जब तक तेज है तब तक सब कुछ ठीक है, बाकी सेक्टर्स चाहे परफॉर्म करें या ना करें, इन दोनों का वेट 50% का है, ये इंडेक्स को रिकवरी को कंटिन्यू करने में हेल्प कर सकते हैं। इस वीक इन्हीं सेक्टर्स में सेलिंग आ गई, दूसरे जहां पे प्रेशर था वो तो था ही था, इन सेक्टर्स में अभी तक सेलिंग नहीं थी। एफआईज का जो अभी तक पॉजिटिव जो भी आ रहा था डेटा वो इन्हीं पे ही आ रहा था कि आपकी कैश में जो बाइंग हो रही थी तो वो कहीं ना कहीं इन्हीं पे रिफ्लेक्ट करती है। वो नेगेटिव हुए तो सारी चीजें यहाँ पे अब दोबारा से आपको टर्न होती हुई नजर आ रही है टुवर्ड साइडवेज टू नेगेटिव। बैंकिंग दोबारा से उन्हीं लेवल्स के पास, दो यहाँ पे अभी भी ये अपने लॉन्ग टर्म एवरेजेस के ऊपर है, जैसे कि आप देख पा रहे हैं इस रेड लाइन के ऊपर बहुत सारे अटेम्प्ट हुए थे पास्ट में भी इसको ब्रेक करने के, बट वो करा नहीं उसने। राइट, तो ये करीब 50,000 400-500 के पास ये लाइन है। बट जो इम्पोर्टेंट मेरे हिसाब से रहेगा वो ये रहेगा कि अब 49,900 जो कि प्रीवियस लो था, उसी को आप अपना बेंचमार्क मान के चले कि जब तक 49,900 होल्ड है तब तक पॉसिबिलिटी रहेगी एक रिकवरी की। हो सकता है इसको ये अटेम्प्ट करे दोबारा से एक बार ब्रेक करने की, जैसे कि पहले भी हुआ था कि एक दिन के लिए इंट्राडे में ब्रेक हो गया था। तो 49,900 बेसिकली आपको इस वीक के लिए ध्यान रखना है बैंकिंग इंडेक्स में। जब तक वो होल्ड है तब तक पॉसिबिलिटी रहेगी कि एक बाउंस का अटेम्प्ट हो, एक रिकवरी का अटेम्प्ट हो, जहां पे कि 51,700 से लेकर 52,400 का जोन है वो रेजिस्टेंस की तरह रहेगा। राइट, यहाँ पे अगेन प्राइवेट बैंकिंग मेजर्स ही प्रेफर करिए, बिकॉज पीएसयूज दे आर यू नो मोर वोलेटाइल देन दी प्राइवेट बैंकिंग प्लेयर्स। एंड प्राइवेट बैंकिंग में भी दी टॉप परफॉर्मिंग नेम्स जहाँ पे की करेक्शन देखने को मिल रहा है, लाइक फ्रॉम द प्राइवेट बैंकिंग साइड आईसीआईसीआई, HDFC, they are the best names. Then from the PSU pack, SBI, that falls in that list. ये कुछ ऐसे ऐसे नाम है जो कि one can look to accumulate during this corrective phase. So for banking 49,900, निफ्टी के लिए हमने बात की थी 23,250 की। अब आते हैं स्टॉक्स पे, लाइक वेयर वी शुड फोकस इफ we are eyeing further correction in the market. So this is the first name on the list from the banking space, though it's been in a range for almost 1.5 years now. AU Bank, but finally we are seeing some sign of breakdown or reversal. So as you can see that the stock was hovering in this range for prolonged period of time, and finally this week we are seeing a red candle, decisive breakdown below this previous swing low. So that indicates a possibility of fresh correction in this stock. So this stock may witness, a slide towards this area where we've tested in past also around 460, 480 zone. So the first name where one can look for short rates from the banking basket is AU Bank. So पहला नाम स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक फ्रंट पे अगर हम बात करें तो एयू बैंक क्यों, क्योंकि एक लंबे कंसोलिडेशन के बाद उसका एक ब्रेकडाउन देखने को मिला है, जो इस लेवल को ये बार बार सपोर्ट कर रहा था। इस वीक इसने उसको सपोर्ट नहीं किया है, एक मार्जिनल पॉज और रिकवरी के बाद इसने उसको ब्रेक कर दिया, डिसाइसिवली ब्रेक कर दिया। तो पॉसिबिलिटी ये है कि यहाँ पे करेक्शन कंटिन्यू रहेगी और ये लेवल करीब 520, उसके बाद फिर ये प्रीवियस स्विंग लो है करीब 460, उन लेवल तक भी शायद ये टेस्ट कर दे। ये नाम यहाँ पे शॉर्टिंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज बन सकती हैं। Second name that we have on the list is Hindalco. So like metal was topping the charts among the sectoral losers. Here we can see that it's a distribution pattern. Those who know head and shoulder, basically it's a clear-cut distribution pattern. And the stock has slipped below its long-term averages. Also, this red line is similar to what we have in the Nifty index and which we discussed. Last time also it slipped below this level, but it was a preempt, a false breakdown rather. Then we had this recovery, and this time around, finally, decisively, we are trading below this mark. So this indicates further potential of decline. So once we break this previous swing low, will have added confirmation. So Hindalco में भी नेगेटिव अप्रोच का ही इंडिकेशन बन रहा है, जैसा कि आप स्क्रीन पे देख पा रहे हैं कि एक काफी रेंज बाउंड कंसोलिडेशन में था, एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन पैटर्न फॉर्म किया, उसके लिए इसने हेड एंड शोल्डर था और अब उसके नीचे ये ब्रेकडाउन के लिए तैयार है, ऑलमोस्ट उन्हीं लेवल्स के पास ट्रेड कर रहा है, लॉन्ग टर्म एवरेज के भी नीचे है। तो सारे इंडिकेशन नेगेटिव साइड पे ज्यादा है हिंडल्को के लिए। So after two candidates to look to go short in, third candidate Lupin, like pharma is the only sector wherein we saw some strength uh, alongside with the healthcare basket. So within the pharma space, we have multiple names though, but Lupin is something that we have already seen decent time-wise correction in the last 3 months. So after making a new high, post this range breakout, a sharp recovery. In the last 3 months, it was trading in a tight range, declining with the sideways bias, and now it seems for a recovery after spending these 3 months under corrective tone. And usually, when the market corrects, some of these counters in the defense basket, they usually get traction. So Lupin is something that one can look to accumulate in case the markets correct further, wherein because we are seeing strength. तो देखिए एयू बैंक हिंडाल्को जहां पर नेगेटिविटी की बात हुई, यहाँ पे पॉजिटिविटी दिख रही है फार्मा स्पेस में, जो कि इस वीक का गेनर भी रहा सेक्टोरल फ्रंट पे। दो नाम आपने देखे, डॉक्टर रेड्डी सिप्ला जो कि टॉप गेनर्स में रहे। तो वहीं पे ल्यूपिन में भी 3 महीने की कंसोलिडेशन या करेक्शन जो कह सकते हैं ओवर हो चुकी है, लग रहा है, इंडिकेशन है। अब यहाँ से ये स्टॉक ग्रेजुअली अपने रिकॉर्ड हाइज की तरफ बढ़ सकता है, ऐसे कुछ इंडिकेशन आ रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पे आप लॉन्ग पोजिशन के लिए देख सकते हैं इन द कमिंग वीक। तो ओवरऑल जो हमने बात की मार्केट्स को लेकर, हमने क्या बातें की कि 23,250 और 49,900, 23,250 and 49,900. These are the key areas for Nifty and banking index respectively that one should keep in mind for the next week. As long as we are holding out these levels, there will be an attempt of recovery. There could be a rebound, but we have multiple resistances also on the higher end, so one should act accordingly since the tone is negative. Stock specific front page, we've talked about AU Bank, wherein we have fresh breakdown from the distribution range and Hindalco as well. Lupin is something जो कि आप लॉन्ग साइड की पोजीशन के लिए देख सकते हैं। तो आज के सेशन में अभी इतना ही। लेट्स डू अ क्विक फीडबैक पोल and then we can start with the questions. So please अपना जो भी फीडबैक है रिगार्डिंग दी वेबिनार प्लीज आप शेयर कर दीजिए। एंड कोई भी सवाल है आपका, Q&A बटन है आपकी स्क्रीन पे, Q&A करके लिखा हुआ है, उसमें आप अपना क्वेश्चन लिखकर पूछ सकते हैं। स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज प्लीज अवॉइड करिएगा, बिकॉज अदरवाइज वो अनएंडिंग सेशन हो जाएगा। कोई भी सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज हैं आपकी, डेफिनेटली वी कैन आंसर। अगर टाइम अलाउ करेगा, डेफिनेटली विल टेक फ्यू स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज आल्सो, बट प्रेफरेंस शुड बी गिवन टू द सेक्टोरल क्वेरीज। प्लीज क्विकली फिल दिस फीडबैक, और उसके बाद जो भी सवाल है आपका Q&A बटन को यूज करते हुए यू कैन आस्क। Okay, so we are almost done now. All right, so let's start now with Q&A. See, stock specific queries we may take later. First, we'll talk about new listings. So we have question from Mr. Karthikeyan Ravichandran about will the market will fall in the market will affect the price of new listing. Obviously, they are not you know decline proof or fall proof. New listings. Actually, I would like to spend a minute here for the benefit of all. See, chasing a stock without knowing their real worth, especially for the IPO stocks, is not a great practice. Why? Because by the end of the day, for a few days, what I have been observing personally, that initially after any IPO, wherein the participant interest is high, means they get subscribed by 15 times, 20 times, 30 times. Usually people chase them post listing also after 50-60% kind of an up move. And as of now, what we've been observing is that they continue to inch higher even for 3-4 days and maybe longer in certain cases. But when they reverse their trend, they not only eliminate the recent gains post listing, but also uh, they come below the listing price or maybe lower. So trading in recently listed name without knowing your stop losses is a lethal combination of you're blindly speculating on something. So it's not at all a good practice. Please make sure that we have clarity that why we are buying any stock. If it is for trading, we should have stop loss in place. If it is for investment, then we should not get bothered about the short-term price fluctuations. But at what price we are buying, uh, that is critical, right? So chasing anything which is in trend or which everybody is doing is not a good practice, right? So for new listings specifically, maintain extra caution when you are trading, when you are chasing momentum, right? Okay, so next we have Mr. Ajay Gupta. So thank you, Ajay, for the feedback. And why did IT see correction today, as Accenture guidance was good and dollar is also at the record? So yes, see, this is a clear sign of you know FI sell off, because when we don't see any reason. So till last week, two sectors, from almost 8-9 videos, and maybe before that also, if you go back and see all our videos, there's one single thing that we used to say: IT banking, IT banking, IT banking. Other sectors, they are down and out, means 20%, 25% kind of a cut that we have already seen in FMCG, auto, and energy, almost everything. You know, it was only IT and banking which was holding or maintaining closer to their record highs or at the record highs. So when we have nothing left to pressure, then obviously the pressure comes in the top names, and that is what we are seeing in banking and IT right now. Are we going to change our stance due to this sell-off? The answer is no. We feel it's a short-term blip, and IT and banking, they are likely to outperform the markets, in the coming weeks and months also. So IT, banking, realty, pharma, these are the four key sectors that one should be focusing on once the market reverses and once we see any sign of recovery. You may write it down somewhere: IT, banking, pharma, and realty, right? Others, they may participate selectively every now and then, but this should be the preferred one. Okay, next we have Riha. That sir, is it the right time to invest in large cap like Reliance? So as a disclosure and disclaimer first, that yes, we have recommended Reliance to our clients through our investment recommendations. So we are biased because we have a recommendation running. And if I'm not wrong, 1570 is what we have recommended as a long-term target. So this is a disclosure and disclaimer that we already have a recommendation running in plans. Okay. All right, so a couple of queries on stock specific front also. See any stock, because I'll share this, which is completely critical to know. Till couple of days ago, we were seeing that the heavyweights they were witnessing pressure, but mid cap and small cap they were holding strong, which is a very unusual case. Means that shows that only one particular segment is making all the sell off. Means the FIs are largely basically hitting the markets lower. But now, in the last two trading session, we are seeing sell off across the board, and today's was very much evident in mid cap and small cap also. So, stock like Suzlon, which has done exceptionally well, in the recent past, from almost a single digit mark to yes, to 64, 65 levels. But the way we've ended on Friday, yes, there's a possibility that the stock might drift further lower with support at 60. So you can decide on your own whether you wish to continue with that or not. But 60 is something. Marginally, we have support at 62 and then major at 60. Okay, next we have on D-Mart. So this stock has also been underperforming for quite some time, though there was an attempt of recovery in the recent past. But in the last 3 months, it has again, drifted lower, and we have reached to the previous swing lows close to around February lows around 3400 mark. If 3300, 3290 to be precise, if it breaks this area, then this sell-off may intensify. Otherwise, we may see some bounce back or recovery. So 3290 spot should be your make or break area for D-Mart, right? Okay, any sector to avoid? See, barring all these four, it's not that we are outrightly bullish on them. IT, banking, pharma, and realty. Rest of the sectors, they are still, there's no sign of reversal yet. Still, we are seeing that every now and then, be it auto, metal, energy, they are still seeing some participation on the downside. So for the next week at least, until we see some sign of recovery and reversal, then uh, pharma first, then IT, then banking, and then lastly realty. This should be the preference order. Okay, so yeah, with this, we have answered all the queries related to the presentation. So again, final submission that don't get carried away with uh, you know a rise, and don't get into panic just because of decline. If you know that what you have bought for how long, don't convert your trading into investment and vice versa. It's a time for investors to look to accumulate quality stocks. ये टाइम डरने का नहीं, बल्कि एक अच्छे इन्वेस्टमेंट करने का है, लॉन्ग टर्म के हिसाब से, मीडियम टर्म के हिसाब से. तो ट्रेडिंग और इन्वेस्टमेंट को अलग रखिएगा, और इस टाइम को यूटिलाइज करना है एक्यूमुलेट करने के लिए क्वालिटी स्टॉक्स के लिए. सो विद दिस we end this session. Next week is going to be a different week. So we'll share our video on our social channel, Religare social channel. So definitely you can check, be it on YouTube or Instagram and other channels for our next week video. So till then, take care. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining in. We can end the session.